Time now for our rants and raves, starting with Adam.
I want to rant about this piece that ran in Politico magazine today. Hooked to Valentine's Day, what they did was assemble what they described in so many words as the wit and wisdom of President Trump when it comes to love and sex. The problem with the piece, one big problem with the piece, was there was only passing reference made to the multiple allegations of sexual assault or sexual misconduct against the president. Kind of a big, important thing. I get they were trying to do a cute, funny piece, but they sort of said, you might consider him a sexual predator or something else, but they did not come to terms with it. They also did not include such quotes as, grab him by the pussy, you can do whatever you want, or I moved on her like a bitch, which would have kind of undercut the fun and frisky, frolicsome tone that they were striving for. Just remarkably stupid, in my opinion, in concept and execution.
Wow. I agree with that completely. All right,
Yep.
John.
Well, staying on the topic of the Trump administration, there's been a lot of, I think, justifiable concern about what people call normalization of some of the more aberrant behavior of the president. Well, here's another issue to keep on your radar. Trivialization. And an example is the latest in the genre of Inside the White House tell-all books or exposés of what's going on behind the scenes. A couple of Daily Beast reporters have written a book, and the nugget that has popped out of it, I don't even know if it's on the stands yet, that is getting wide play on the internet, is that the original chief of staff, Rance Priebus, once the president discovered that the badger was the state animal of Wisconsin, Priebus's home state, he peppered him often with questions about badgers. Are they mean animals? Are they friendly? What are they like? What do they eat? And this is proffered as an example of Trump's lunacy. Now, there may be a legitimate avenue of inquiry there, but I think to have that be the headline, maybe even an ad hoc headline, trivializes a line of inquiry that's actually deadly serious.
I don't know.
Dressing down the generals, for example, calling them.
But it also speaks to the kinds of things that he focused on instead of dressing down. It's weirdly fascinating, John.
Well, I get it, but it seems to me entirely possible, as much of a whack job as he can be sometimes, that he was just busting Priebus's chops by ridiculing the badger. That would be consistent with his personality.
So are badgers friendly?
Not the honey badger, I can tell you that much.
All right, Lylah.
So I have a rave for every news outlet, media outlet, website that showed people how to get to see Hair Love, the award-winning short film. But I'm especially grateful for an op-ed piece that ran in AZ Central by Greg Moore, pointing out that the fact that a short film about a dad who's attentive and loving and trying hard to help his daughter love her natural hair is so novel and out there that it deserves a huge Oscar nomination instead of just being considered normal. Shows that we have a way to go. But I hope everyone looks it up and watches it because it's really endearing. It's really beautiful and smart and funny. And I wish my kids had been able to see something like that in their short films 10, 15 years ago.
So you sort of contradicted yourself because in some ways it's like it's such a mundane thing and it ends up being riveting.
It is riveting and it's really well done, but it's one of those things that should be just kind of normalized, I think, that dads can do their daughter's hair, that daughters can love their hair instead of hating it and wanting it to look different. So
I've been following that story for years. It's a Kickstarter campaign.
Yes, it did start as one.
It's just wonderful. So please, everybody.
Turn it to you, Callie.
So I am raving, I think, if my cautious rave, for a new outfit called the Black News Channel, based in Tampa. It's a 24-hour news channel, which is really organized, and most of the money raised by J.C. Watts, former Republican. I guess he still is a Republican, but that's how people might know him, Congressperson. And it's something he wanted to do. He's been working on it for years. This has been tried before. Roland Martin was the last person that had a show that was, specifically aimed with news about African Americans, and it didn't last for longer than a few years because it's expensive.
And that was a show.
That was a show.
And this is a
24
whole
network.
How is that?
Yes.
Who's going to carry it?
Well, he's got it on cable. It's picked up on some cable around the country, and he's hoping to expand it. I mean, he spent years preparing for this, so this is not like, I think I'm not going to be able to get some stations to carry it. He already had done some of that work. So we'll see. And because he's a conservative, people said, well, is this sort of like the black answer to Fox? Nope. And we're supposed to be just across the board, even, and we intend to cover everything, but he thought it was really necessary because there's so much information out here is negative, and he said not that we're the whole positive channel either, but I'd like to see some more concentrated stuff.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It could be interesting.
Well, finally tonight, I have a rant for both Twitter and Facebook, who refused to take down that doctored video of Nancy Pelosi, and this is when Donald Trump was honoring the Tuskegee Airmen. They played it straight, but afterwards she ripped up the script. But here's a little clip of that from the doctored video.
Charles is one of the last surviving Tuskegee Airmen, the first black fighter pilots, and he also happens to be Ian's great-grandfather.
Now, of course, that didn't happen. No. But Twitter and Facebook claim, listen, those two events actually did happen. He honored the airmen. She ripped up the script. And so they're trying to say there's nothing fake about it, but it's completely doctored.
Right? It didn't happen together.
No, it didn't happen
Where
together.
would we be without Twitter and Facebook?
That is
and their moral compass.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like a guiding star.
I was the one who
for all of
originally
us.
said I didn't want them being
That's
the police,
just
but now
pathetic.
I've got to
it's
take that
ridiculous.
back.